the young officers, the soldiers who fought very well on ground, they were compromised. It's a very unfortunate part of our history, and many of the soldiers and officers who died died due to the fault of decisions made at the higher headquarters in Delhi, whether it was the political headquarters or the military headquarters. 1962 की एशियन गेम्स में इंडिया की पराजय हुई थी. India lost to Pakistan, and at that time when Haripal Kaushik and his men were actually fighting the war at the border with China, and that time Asian Games India खेलने गया और पाकिस्तान से हार के आ गया. But 1966 4 साल बाद हरिपाल कौशिक captained the team and won. And हरविंदर सिंह से मेरी मुलाकात हुई, वो हरिपाल कौशिक के बारे में उन्होंने काफ़ी जानकारी दी. And also he told me a very interesting story that in the 1967 National Games, he actually, and he was not an athlete, he was a hockey player.
Yeah.
He actually raced against Milkha Singh in a relay race, and he defeated Milkha Singh.
Nariman House, 26/11, a war comes home of brave hearts and their families.
It's a sad state that, you know, at that point of time, 2-3 things happened. The terrorists had the maps. The terrorists were using the maps. The terrorists were using the wireless to speak with their handlers in Karachi in Pakistan.
Yeah.
And the Indian Army, or the NSG commandos rather, who were operating in those locations, did not have the advantage of real-time intelligence. And these are some of these stories are told within the regimental circles, army messes, etc.
Amongst its own people.
वो भी पूरी तरीके से नहीं.
Shrotagan, welcome to your podcast with Raj.
I think this is going to be a little bit interesting and also a little bit serious rather than all the stories that we have. And it also belongs to the beautiful sport that we played and we rather dominated in the glorious era of hockey, Indian hockey.
Right.
Rise after the fall of 1962, where we are talking about the India-China war. The amazing comeback of Haripal Kaushik.
जी, हरिपाल कौशिक एक ऐसे शख्स हैं, उनके जैसा कोई ना पहले आया है ना उनके जैसा कोई बाद में आया है. क्यों? क्योंकि वो एक सोल्जर स्पोर्ट्समैन थे और वो वॉर हीरो ओलंपियन. ऐसा कोई नहीं आया है दुनिया में. आई डोंट थिंक देयर इज़ एनीवन इन द वर्ल्ड हु हैज़ 2 ओलंपिक गोल्ड मेडल्स and is a war hero, a decorated one. That is Haripal Kaushik. That one line is the introduction of Colonel Haripal Kaushik.
And sums up everything.
Sums up everything.
And also the gold came against Pakistan.
Yes. And now that sums up his story, but yet it doesn't, because there are other things that he battled. How he actually, you know, his life in that period was one dramatic stretch where he had the highs and the lows. The story of Haripal Kaushik teaches us how a soldier goes through these lows and what happens and how he battles those lows. And that's what Haripal Kaushik did. You know, 1956 mein unki, I mean, I'll let the story be available to the reader to read, but 1956 में वो मेलबर्न ओलंपिक्स में गए, उनको गोल्ड मेडल मिला. 1960 में रोम में, तब तक इंडिया हरा नहीं था. इंडिया had never lost to Pakistan or anyone in the Olympics.
And they were continuously winning it, consecutive streaks of 6 matches, 6 win titles.
6 Olympic gold medals. लेकिन पाकिस्तान was catching up. और रोम में ये इंडियन हॉकी टीम पहली बार पराजय का सामना इनको करना पड़ा जब ये 1 गोल से पाकिस्तान से फाइनल में हार गए.
और उनको बहुत दुख हुआ.
Media as usual went after them. And the interesting part here is that 1960 में, अब वो मैं एक हरबिंदर सिंह है उस वक्त के फॉरवर्ड थे, वो इनसे मेरी बात हो रही थी.
Wow.
Yes. And so when I went to his house and we sat over the entire the hockey experiences, etc. He's played with Haripal Kaushik. So he was telling me one interesting thing that 1960 में, अब तब वो हरबिंदर आए नहीं थे सीन में. हरबिंदर उसके बाद उन्होंने प्रवेश करी. But he, being a hockey player of that era, he knew what had happened.
Okay.
The interesting part was that 1960 में जब ये सिल्वर मेडल लेकर के आए थे हॉकी टीम, तब इनको वो सिल्वर मेडल, the public and the media thought that was the biggest loss India had ever had. And the nation was upset that the hockey team had lost. और उसी वक्त, the irony is that Milkha Singh, who was India's greatest athlete, had finished 4th. And though he had finished 4th, it was considered the glorious chapter of Milkha
Yeah.
Singh.
Because it was the first time in track
It was,
and field.
yes. The irony was that here was a hockey team with a medal,
Silver medal.
silver medal, and Milkha Singh ji had not won, but he had run the greatest race of an
Photograph
Indian.
finish, fraction of seconds.
Yes, and he had finished fourth.
Yeah.
So, but these people were actually were given, they were criticized, or they went through a very tough period. और उसके बाद ये कहानी चलती है हमारे 1962 की लड़ाई, इंडिया चाइना वॉर के दौरान, जब इनको when he was posted back to his battalion, that was the first time he was posted to his battalion, और उसके पहले इन्होंने फौज में सर्विस करी ही नहीं थी. So when he was posted there, everything was new for him. The battalion was new for him. The company, his troops, the people who he was commanding in his company as a company commander. Company commander, एक young, captain या major होता है. He was a lieutenant and then he became a captain. But what I'm trying to say is that he was not very much familiar with the conditions, with the operations, with the people that he was commanding, with the soldiers. But he was when he was posted there, as luck would have it, the war broke out between India and China. He was thrust in the middle of the war, and he gave a great account of himself. And he was again responsible for saving the lives of hundreds of soldiers, and also saving millions of worth of equipment, because he had executed a maneuver which is one of the toughest maneuvers in the war, which is the withdrawal. अब वो जीत रहे थे. वो जीत रहे थे बिकॉज उन्होंने चाइनीज फोर्सेस को रोक दिया था. उनके आगे जो एक स्क्रीन प्लाटून थी सूबेदार जोगिंदर सिंह की, उन्होंने पाकिस्तानी चीनियों के ऊपर काफ़ी हमला बोला था, और चीनियों के हमले को वहीं पे रोक दिया था, दबा के रखा था. बिकॉज वो स्क्रीन जो एक जो मेन बॉडी ऑफ ट्रूप्स है उसके आगे स्क्रीन लगाया हुआ था, स्क्रीन जस्ट टू स्टॉप द एडवांस ऑफ द चाइनीज, एंड ही हैड डन दैट. एंड सूबेदार Joginder Singh went on to win the Paramveer Chakra, and he died, and he went on to win the Paramveer Chakra there. And Haripal Kaushik was awarded the Veer Chakra in the middle of the war, which is unprecedented. And Haripal Kaushik and his band of 15 men who had gone missing, and I wouldn't talk through the entire story, but he was chased by the Chinese, and all of this has happened because of the inept leadership of those years. The political leadership was weak, the military senior leadership was inept, and I say this again and again, it was not strong, it was inept. And because of the inept leadership at both the political and military levels, the young officers, the soldiers who fought very well on ground, they were compromised. It's a very unfortunate part of our history, and many of the soldiers and officers who died due to the fault of decisions made at the higher headquarters in Delhi, whether it was the political headquarters or the military headquarters. Nobody had the heart or the ability to really take a call and fight a war that they should have. And I don't want to go into the details of that would digress. But it also highlights Haripal Kaushik's story. Colonel Haripal Kaushik's story highlights how the young officers and soldiers fought despite the odds and despite the weak leadership at the senior level. And ये जो कहानियाँ हैं, जब पहले 2-3 कहानियाँ और ये वाली कहानियाँ, हर एक कहानी में प्रोटैगनिस्ट के माध्यम से ये भी बताना, मैंने सोचा कि वो मैं करूँगा, and this is one of the objectives, is to tell the story of where India was at that point of time in its history. So when we talk about 1962 war, which was a war of immense setback, and that is what happened with Haripal Kaushik and his troops. But despite that, he came out shining in glory. And after the war, because of the loss of colleagues and loss of his CO, commanding officer, men, his comrades, he suffered a physical and mental breakdown.
All right.
But here's the story. He came back from there, and what did he do? He came back to attain glory. He won back the gold that had been lost in the previous Olympics, which is a story, again, that needed to be told. A story that's not been told. And some of these stories are told within the regimental circles, army messes, etc.
Amongst its own people.
वो भी पूरी तरीके से नहीं,
हाँ, आधी
आई
अधूरी
कैन अश्योर यू, वो भी पूरी तरीके से नहीं, बिकॉज कुछ लोगों को मालूम है, कुछ लोगों को नहीं मालूम है, बट सम पीपल नो इट, नॉट द अदर्स. लार्ज पार्ट ऑफ द आर्मी ऑल्सो डज नॉट नो सम ऑफ दी मैनी ऑफ दीज स्टोरीज, लेट
Yeah.
मी अश्योर यू दैट. एंड बाकी हिस्टोरियंस और उनकी तो बात छोड़ ही दीजिए.
और सर, you know, he also went on to captain India.
Yes.
He also went on to
Yes,
captain
and
India.
he, 1962 की एशियन गेम्स में इंडिया की पराजय हुई थी. इंडिया लॉस्ट टू पाकिस्तान, एंड एट दैट टाइम व्हेन हरिपाल कौशिक एंड हिज मेन वर एक्चुअली फाइटिंग द वॉर एट द बॉर्डर विद चाइना, एंड दैट टाइम एशियन गेम्स इंडिया खेलने गया और पाकिस्तान से हार के आ गया. बट 1966, 4 साल बाद, हरिपाल कौशिक कैप्टन द टीम एंड वन
The Olympic gold.
the एशियन गेम्स गोल्ड, ओलंपिक गोल्ड उन्होंने 1964 में जीता था. और किस तरीके से, किस हालात में उनकी रिकवरी हुई, किस तरीके से उन्होंने ये करा, ये दिस इज अनदर स्टोरी. I must, there's a little tiny tale here. Harbinder Singh was one of the fastest forward at that time in the world. He was so quick that the defenses were left in their wake as he went like the wind. And
Yeah.
Harbinder Singh से मेरी मुलाकात हुई, वो हरिपाल कौशिक के बारे में उन्होंने काफ़ी जानकारी दी. And also he told me a very interesting story that in the 1967 National Games, he actually, and he was not an athlete, he was a hockey player.
Yeah.
He actually raced against Milkha Singh in
Oh,
in a relay race, and he defeated Milkha Singh.
Haripal Kaushik
नहीं
साहब.
नहीं, Harbinder Singh.
Harbinder Singh.
जी.
He defeated
He
Milkha Singh
defeated,
साहब.
there was a relay, and as it happens
हाँ.
in the relay, some, there are
चार
combination
लोग
of
की
4
टीम होती
people.
है. Yeah.
There were Milkha Singh and Makhan Singh, who was again a very well-known, famous India athlete. And Makhan and Milkha were in one team, and Harbinder and some of the others were in another. But Harbinder Singh and the others defeated Milkha and Makhan and the others. And Harbinder Singh was not even an athlete; he was a hockey player. So you can imagine how quick was Harbinder Singh
Yeah.
in hockey. And Harbinder and Haripal Kaushik combined together to strike terror amongst rival
So that
defenses.
is way too legendary because Makhan Singh साहब ने अब्दुल खालिक के अगेंस्ट जो रेस हुई थी, जनरल अयूब ने जब उनको नाम दिया था द फ्लाइंग सिख, Makhan Singh was the one who also defeated
Yes,
Abdul Khalik
yes,
in that race.
yes. So you can imagine.
Yeah.
You can
That is
imagine.
too
Harbinder
legendary.
was as fast as the wind.
Yeah, yeah. And so, that is why Rise after the fall of 1962, because you're seeing it from the spectrum of a sports person, of a loving hockey player जिनको अपना खेल बहुत पसंद था और जिन्होंने सिर्फ सर्विसेज को रिप्रेजेंट किया था, but when the need of the hour came, the time came, he went onto the front, he went onto the battlefield, commanded a regiment, guided its men, and came out strong, facing everything. और सर जैसे कि बोला जाता है कि हम वो वॉर, जो भी हमने सेटबैक्स, इसलिए हमें वो मिले बिकॉज हमारे पास में सही सप्लाईज नहीं थे लड़ने के लिए. बंदूकें जाम हो रही थी, ठंड में लड़ने के लिए जैकेट नहीं थे, लेकिन उसके दौरान भी अगर उनको एक हद तक रोकना और अपने आप को पूरा न्यौछावर करना, दैट ओनली स्पीक्स द ब्रेवरी एंड द वैलर एंड द सनक ऑफ इंडियन सोल्जर्स की. वैसे इसमें भी भिड़ गए, जो है उससे भिड़ जाएंगे.
बिल्कुल. और उसके लिए उन्होंने प्लानिंग करी थी, तरतीब रखी थी कि किस तरीके से प्रोसेस एक बहुत अहम पार्ट है
हिस्सा है.
आपके सक्सेस को डिफाइन करना. ऐसे मैं कहता हूँ कि जोश के साथ में होश होना ज़रूरी है. तो इस कहानी में पढ़िए किस तरीके से हरिपाल कौशिक ने, he had actually laid the sort of, the trap for the Chinese, what he had done, how he had stopped the Chinese, not just by sheer brutality of it, because, you can always have, but you need dimag, hosh, utna hi zaruri hai. And what he did was an example of both. And he kept his calm headed. And he also, he was a hockey player.
Yeah.
So he was also looking at
strategy
was tactics at that time and how he would deploy those tactics. And being a sportsman, फौज में स्पोर्ट्स की बहुत अहम जगह है. और इस कहानी से ये भी दर्शाता है कि किस तरीके से, when he recovers, he's going to play hockey matches. The families of the battalion support him in his recovery. The battalion is an entire family,
Yeah.
That is one of the things that people really cherish and people draw a lot of their strength from. This story talks about that.
एंड सर भारतीय फौज ने बहुत ही डिग्निफाइड स्पोर्ट्समैन एंड स्पोर्ट्स विमेन दिए हैं हिंदुस्तान को. बहुत सारे खिलाड़ी दिए हैं, कितने बेहतरीन. मेजर ध्यानचंद उसमें से खुद है, मिल्खा सिंह साहब उसमें से खुद है. ऑल राइट. सो मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है दैट्स अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल मेटाफोर दैट आई एम थिंकिंग राइट नाउ कि उनके लिए जंग भी एक हॉकी के मैच की तरह थी, वेयर ही न्यू हाउ हिज गोल वाज एंड हाउ ही सपोज टू बी देयर डूइंग द टीम वर्क. and leading from the front.
And that's why sports, आपने बताया कि sports किस तरीके से sportsmen फौज से आए हैं. Sports is an essential part of फौज because that builds that teamwork, that spirit, and also the ability to rebound from a loss.
Yeah, brotherhood, discipline.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, I'll read the postscript. In the 1966 Asian Games held in Jakarta, India and Pakistan faced off in the final. Once again, India emerged victorious, avenging their previous defeat in the games. Haripal Kaushik, now vice captain of the Indian hockey team, had reclaimed both the Olympic gold in 1964 and Asian Games gold medals. Awarded the Veer Chakra for gallantry, Kaushik won 2 Olympic gold medals, one silver in the 1960 Rome Olympics, one Asian Games gold medal, and the Arjuna Award for sports, etching his name in the Indian military history for excelling in both the sporting and military realms. He retired on his own terms, as he desired. He left the sport at the pinnacle of his career, shining brightly and at the top of his game.
Yes.
Perfect. Let's move to chapter 6.
Sure.
And I think we have to cover 4 more chapters.
Yes.
So let's be a little quick. मैं भी कम सवाल पूछूंगा आपसे.
बिल्कुल.
But आप feel free to express yourself, sir.
We'll be crisper with this.
It's a lovely experience listening to you. Top Guns of Boira.
हाँ जी.
Gentlemen at War.
Yes.
Please enlighten us, sir.
Well, it's a story that again has this story, unlike the previous stories, has several characters. I mean, अगर हम स्टोरी के माध्यम से देखें तो several characters, and ये एक ऐसा वक्त है, and I go back to the theme of the book, कि ये book जो है प्रोटैगनिस्ट के माध्यम से ये दर्शाता है कि हम एज अ नेशन, हम हिस्ट्री में किस एरा में जी रहे थे. 62 में poor leadership at the senior level, but a very defiant, brave, leadership at the junior level, at the young level, and people who fought bravely. वो 62 की बात थी. 71 में तब वो ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हुआ था, लीडरशिप में चेंज आया था, मिलिट्री लीडरशिप में चेंज आया था, और ये 9 साल में इंडिया ने दूसरी लड़ाइयाँ लड़ी 1965 की, 67 की, और ये 71 तक आते आते एक ये स्टोरी में आप देखेंगे एक कॉन्फिडेंट इंडिया नज़र आता है. और ये इसलिए इसमें कई सारे कैरेक्टर्स हैं. इसमें एयरफोर्स वाले हैं, इसमें आर्मी वाले हैं, और सबका अलग अलग रोल है. और ये because there's so many characters, I just wanted to talk about how this story talks about the fight, the air battle between the Pakistani Sabre jets and the Indian Nats. Indian Nats were inferior to the Pakistani Sabre jets, but this is again an example of how the human expertise can overcome the technical drawback.
Wow, that's a line.
Yes, the human expertise can overcome a technical drawback. And in this story, it's highlighted in that dogfight that takes place between 3 Pakistani fighter planes and 3 Indian fighter planes. And in that fight, and it is counted as one of the greatest air battles in history. Again, a story that we must talk about. One of the greatest air battles in history, not our air battles, इन हिस्ट्री. और इस सेंचुरी की सबसे अहम एयर बैटल्स में उसको काउंट किया जाता है. क्यों? क्योंकि 3 versus 3. अब एक पाकिस्तानी प्लेन चला गया वापस उड़ करके, 2 पाकिस्तानी प्लेन्स को गिराया गया. They were shot down by the Indian fighter pilots. Now what happens with the story, I will again let the reader read. Explore. But it's a journey. Now these 2 Pakistani pilots who parachute to the ground are apprehended by Indian soldiers, and now the army comes into play, and they have the conversation with the Pakistani pilots. I spoke with the officers who had apprehended the Pakistani pilots.
Basically, they crashed in the Indian territory.
Yes, I also spoke with the fighter pilots who had, carried out this, who were involved in the air battle with the Pakistani pilots. और वो जब ये पाकिस्तानी पायलट्स नीचे आए और पाकिस्तानी पायलट्स को एप्रीहेंड किया गया, उनको फिर द इंडियन फाइटर पायलट, दिस वाज हैपनिंग ओवर द स्काइज ऑफ कैलकाटा. जब ये कैलकाटा में जब ये ऊपर लड़ाई हो रही थी, उसके बाद जब पूरा कैलकाटा ऊपर देख रहा था कि ये लड़ाई चल रही है, और ये बोयरा के ऊपर लड़ाई चल रही थी. बट
बोयरा, ये जो नाम है, इसका भी सिग्निफिकेंस आप बताइए कि ये क्यों इम्पोर्टेंट था, बोथ फॉर इंडिया एंड फॉर पाकिस्तान एंड द न्यूली इमर्ज्ड टू बी इमर्ज्ड बांग्लादेश.
यस, बिकॉज यहाँ पे इट वाज एक वहाँ पे एक जगह थी गरीबपुर जिसकी लड़ाई चल रही थी, और वो वहाँ से जो सीधा जो है रास्ता दैट वुड हैव हेल्प्ड the Indian troops, once the war started, that would have helped Indian troops to go farther inside East Pakistan.
Yeah.
So बोयरा एक salient था, जो एक टुकड़ा लैंड का जो इंडिया के तरफ मुड़ा हुआ था, और वो बोयरा के ऊपर लड़ाई चल रही थी. कलकत्ता के ऊपर से ये फाइटर जेट्स फ्लाई करके गई थी, और ये जब लड़ाई होने के बाद में जब ये वापस ये फाइटर जेट्स दमदम एयरपोर्ट पे लैंड होने की कोशिश कर रही थी, तो काफ़ी देर तक उड़ रहे थे ये फाइटर जेट्स ओवर द सिटी ऑफ कैलकाटा, एंड देवर अदर सम रशियन प्लेन विच वाज सपोज टू लैंड देयर,
Yeah.
and the air traffic said, wait, our heroes are taking time, they are flying around the city and they will land
them
when
do
they
the
have
job.
to, and you have to just wait. And then they landed. So they were fighters, they were heroes. In the evening, they visited the Park Street. If you know, it's a very iconic street of Calcutta. And उन दिनों Calcutta में jazz का बड़ा माहौल
हुआ
था.
करता था.
Yes, Pam Crane was playing jazz in one of the jazz bars, very iconic in Calcutta, called was Blue Fox.
Wow.
So Blue Fox में Pam Crane was playing jazz, and in walk these four fighter pilots in their overalls, in the blue overalls, and the manager clears out the table that, आप बैठिए and get your drinks, and these people were having their, so that's one of the reasons I have also called this the Top Guns of Boira. We go back to Hollywood. We watch Tom Cruise. We watch Tom Cruise, which is again incredible
Top
hero.
Gun.
Top Gun.
Yeah.
But ये सही कहानी है. This
ये
is the
असली
real
कहानी
story.
है.
असली कहानी
ये
है.
हमारी कहानी है.
हमारी कहानी है और रियल स्टोरी है. टॉम क्रूज की कहानी very well made, but it's fiction. This is non-fiction. This is real. तो ये जब जाते हैं Blue Fox.
I love the titles that you have given. Top Guns of Boira.
Well, some titles I had to think of. This title I didn't.
Yeah.
It was just a title waiting to be written. And then वहाँ पर तो there was a line of women that made a beeline to get signatures, and there's an interesting story from there
Yeah.
as well, where people signed those. They had these little autograph books or pieces of paper, and there was somebody who came in. She didn't have any paper, and she signed. She asked then flying officer Sunit Suarez to sign on her bosom, and he said, "Lady, just turn around," and he signed on her back. It was a very interesting one. And in the event here, I had asked Wing Commander, Group Captain Sunit Suarez, to come and talk about the story, which he did, and he tells an amazing story. So Group Captain Sunit Suarez had come to the event, and he told that story. And this is a remarkable story. The interesting part is that story doesn't end there, because वो कहानी चलती है 1996 में.
96 में
1996
25
साल बाद वो पाकिस्तानी पायलट जिनको नीचे उतारा था, जिनकी प्लेन तोड़ी थी और जो नीचे उतर के आए थे उनको प्रिजनर बनाया था, बंदी बनाया था, वो जाकर के बाद में पाकिस्तान के एयर चीफ बन जाते हैं. और उनका नाम था एयर चीफ मार्शल परवेज़ मेहदी. जब परवेज़ मेहदी को नवाज शरीफ साहब आते हैं, पाकिस्तान के प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे, प्रेसिडेंट थे उस वक्त, and he says, well, I have someone who I want to recommend to become the Pakistani army chief. Do you think he's the right guy? So परवेज़ मेहदी जी बोलते हैं, किसी और को बना लीजिए साहब, लेकिन इसे मत बनाइए, आपकी नौकरी चली जाएगी.
Allow me to read the postscript. Allow me.
Yes.
All right, guys, this is very interesting. Mehdi demonstrated not only his courage as a pilot, but also his prudence as an astute air chief in the years that followed. In 1998, when Prime Minister of Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif, decided to appoint Parvez Musharraf as Chief of the Army Staff, Air Chief Marshal Parvez Mehdi is known to have advised the PM against the move. Subsequently, Mehdi cautioned the PM against involving PAF, Pakistani Air Force, in the Kargil conflict with India. His perspective was that deploying the PAF would likely trigger a retaliatory response from India, escalating the war. Mehdi found himself in opposition to his long-standing course mate from the 1964 batch, Parvez Musharraf. As events unfolded, Mehdi's insights proved prescient on both fronts. Musharraf's Kargil venture culminated in defeat, and Nawaz Sharif regretted his decision to appoint him as the army chief.
बिल्कुल. And that's how it ended. I must also mention that in the many years later, 1996 में जब ये चीफ बने, तब इनके पास एक चिट्ठी आई.
किसकी?
वो चिट्ठी आई वो इंडियन पायलट की जिन्होंने इनको मार गिराया था.
डॉग फाइट में.
जी, डॉन लाजरस. सो जब वो चिट्ठी आई तब वो डॉन लाजरस की चिट्ठी जी जो वहाँ पे एयर चीफ मार्शल के पास आई थी, तो उसमें लिखा गया था कि यू मे नॉट रिमेंबर बट वी फॉट. वी मे नॉट रिमेंबर बट वी मेट इन द एयर many years ago. That's what he wrote.
Wow.
And Wing Commander Lazarus forgot about that letter, saying that एयर चीफ मार्शल को लिखा है, वो कौन वापस थोड़ी लिखेंगे. लेकिन कुछ टाइम बाद जब वो कुनूर में सेटल थे, उनके पास एक मेल आया, वो पोस्टमैन लेके आया, वो था पाकिस्तानी एयर चीफ का.
मेहदी
अब
साहब
वो
का.
हाँ मेहदी साहब का. क्या था? किताब में है.
हाँ, पढ़िए जाके, बिल्कुल पढ़िए. So this is too legendary, sir. 1971, as you're rightly saying, India emerged new. India was very young, very dynamic, and it was colorful. If I had to put it in simple words, it was colorful. It was brave. It was just not just the army, but the Air Force and the Navy. Everyone involved and led to the creation of a new nation altogether, Bangladesh.
बिल्कुल.
So please go ahead and read the Top Guns of Boira. And this is some answer, a man speaks from his experience. What Mehdi Saab told Nawaz Sharif,
Yes.
that came out to be so true. Because then he removed him, he, impeached him. He basically martial law laga uske baad.
Yes.
And then what happened in the nation of Pakistan, it's all in front of us
How
today.
did he know? Both the Parvezes
Yeah.
knew each other for many years.
Parvezes, wow.
Both the Parvezes knew each other for many years because इन्होंने साथ में ट्रेनिंग करी थी.
Batchmate थे.
बैचमेट थे. 1960-62 जो भी.
तो मतलब सर उनकी नब्ज से वाकिफ थे वो.
हाँ, उनके नफ्स से वाकिफ थे, उन्हें जानते थे. और that's how he advised the president, Nawaz Sharif.
Perfect. For more, please go ahead and read the Top Guns of Boira. Now we enter into part 3. So congratulations, we have covered 2 parts.
Thank
6
you.
stories.
Thank you.
And now part 3,
Yes, thank you for
modern era, unseen. The pleasure is all mine, sir. Trust me. Modern era, unseen adversaries, identity wars. Now this is something that we begin ahead with the advancements of times, equipments, and the technology that turned out later to be the modern warfare. Beginning with conflicts in distant lands in the early part of the century, wars crept past the nation's borders over the years, striking our societies and homes. Stories of fighting unseen enemies, slow drip insurgencies, complex perceptions, and deceptive truths entered our living rooms. These stories pose more questions than provide answers. When families became entwined in a soldier's fight against terrorists during the 2008 Mumbai attacks, a loop that had started thousands of miles away in Europe in World War I had finally come full circle. Stories of wars became a part of us. A bloodless pact to victory, an unlikely alliance.
जी. So I would also like to say that पहले जब हम पहले First World War, Second World War की बात कर रहे थे, so the new world order was established and the Indian soldier played a big role. Huge role, right? And then when India became independent, the Indian soldier played a big role in the territorial integrity of those times. The wars were fought. वो सीमा के ऊपर लड़ाई हो रही थी 1962 में, 1948 में, 65 में, 71 में. और उन लड़ाइयों में वो सीमा के आसपास लड़ाई हो रही थी, सीमा को लेकर के लड़ाई हो रही थी. लेकिन उसके बाद जब ये विश्व के ऑर्डर चेंज हो गई कि जब बर्लिन वॉल कोलैप्स हो गया, सोवियत यूनियन कोलैप्स हो गया, लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स चेंज्ड इन द 80s. Once those things changed, they started to impact us as a nation again.
Yeah.
And again, the soldier was brought into action, into the service of the nation in a very different set of circumstances. वो कैसे कि जैसे अब 80s में बर्लिन वॉल कोलैप्स हो गया, सोवियत यूनियन डिसमेंटल हो गया. अब जो मुजाहिदीन लड़ रहे थे उनका रुख इस तरफ मुड़ गया. तालिबान एस्टैब्लिश हो गया अफगानिस्तान में. Now the Kashmir insurgency started in the late 89-90 and then 90s, in the 90s.
Started as a separatist movement?
Yes.
Yeah.
Militancy, terrorism, ये सारी कहानियाँ चलती गई. तो ये जो पार्ट है वो उस पार्ट को दर्शाता है जब हमारी एडवर्सरी जो हमारे किसी और कॉन्टिनेंट में थे और उसके बाद बॉर्डर के बाहर थे, वो हमारे पास हमारे बीच आ चुके थे. एंड दे वर नो मोर वेयरिंग यूनिफॉर्म्स. दे वर एडवर्सरीज अमंगस्ट अस, नॉट वेयरिंग यूनिफॉर्म्स. एंड ये जो कहानी है ये this story, this is just after Kargil.
After 1999.
Yes, after 1999, after the Kargil war. और ये कहानी तब की है जब, and again, this is a story of two adversaries finding themselves in the middle of the end of the war, in the middle of desolate mountains at the end of the war, when there was a piece of land that had not been decided कि यहाँ कहाँ ये piece of land कहाँ जाएगा,
किसका है?
या इंडिया के पास है कि पाकिस्तान. तो that top, these two officers are stuck. How they are stuck? Because if they attack, there will be lots of casualties. And there they have a face-off in the middle of the mountains where they're one adversary. And this is a Pakistani officer, Indian officer on both sides, with about 40 odd troops on the Pakistani side, 60 odd men on the Indian side. And in a face-off in the middle of nowhere at the top of a mountain, their one enemy after some time was the weather. And what
Or
do they
rather
do?
the common enemy.
The common enemy, the adverse weather, the terrain, the conditions, and yet they have to conquer the top. And that's the order they have from their senior superior headquarters. What happens thereafter? Because कई टाइम तक, कई दिनों तक दोनों स्टक रहते हैं, दोनों जो टुकड़ियां हैं वो स्टक होती हैं. And how they kind of start to talk to each other, what happens, what do they discover about each other. ये एक जो है conflict और war का एक पहलू है, एक dimension है.
और बहुत ही humanized.
Yes, so I wanted to
Yeah.
explore that. So, you know, war and conflicts throw up different dimensions of stories, human behavior, interactions, etc. And the soldier who wears a uniform does have certain qualities. And yahan par, I wanted to also bring about this kind of, you know, what is the other side, where you know, what happens when two adversaries meet in a condition where they get to interact with each other and they discover many things about each other which they did not know.
Yeah, the little intricacies about each other.
Yes.
So I would want to, I would want you to tell us about this little incident or the chapter in this chapter.
जी.
Two officers sharing a smoke.
जी. तो जब वो,
Yeah.
I will not talk about the entire thing. I will just
You
let
can just
readers.
give a little teaser about
Yes,
it because I think
yes.
it's very interesting.
जब वो मिलते हैं एक चट्टान के पीछे, away from everyone, and they start to figure out कि who they are. Initially there is a lot of suspicion. जो suspicion है कि भाई वेरीनेस है, और वो वेरीनेस को ओवरकम करने के बाद में कैसे ओवरकम करते हैं कि भाई सिगरेट पीजिए. So how, you know, sharing a smoke helps them to create a little tiny bond out there, bond of humanity. And they start to become friends with each other. They discover that there's more to their lives than the war they were fighting, because they understand again that, you know, their films they watch, the cricket they share, the love for various sports,
Or
the
the
love
food,
for
which
films,
is so
the food,
common, yeah.
and various other things. And, you know, some of those things they discover out there, which is quite incredible. And again, very true story of someone.
Yeah.
And the names have been masked because of obvious reasons in some of these stories, a couple of them. But this one stood out because here there were two people who were conversing in the middle of nowhere and discovering so many things about themselves. And we're talking about 1999, this we talk about Shoaib Akhtar and Sachin Tendulkar. The war was also going on around the time when the World Cup had happened. उसके थोड़े दिन पहले World Cup हुई थी, and Sachin Tendulkar
1999 का
1999
Yeah.
का वर्ल्ड कप, और सचिन तेंदुलकर ने बहुत पिटाई की थी पाकिस्तानी बॉलर्स की.
वकार वसीम
and
शोएब
Shoaib
अख्तर.
Akhtar.
Yeah.
So there is, you know, and the reason why I said Shoaib Akhtar is, they let the readers find out there is a specific
Absolutely.
reason why Shoaib Akhtar is here in this.
All right, and I'll end the chapter for this, which is a bloodless path to victory, by reading the postscript,
Ji.
which justifies the Kargil War was a result of General Parvez Musharraf's plan to occupy strategic heights in Indian territory between 11,000 and 17,500 feet, and precisely National Highway 1, हिंदुस्तान की गर्दन, जहाँ पूरा connectivity बैठता है supplies का. Pakistani army intruders had illegally occupied several peaks in the sector before being pushed back. एक अनकहा करार कि ठंड के वक्त ना हम अपनी चौकियों में होंगे ना तुम, और जब वापस बर्फ पिघल जाएगा हम वापस आ जाएंगे. लेकिन उन्होंने ये तोड़ा भाई, खंजर भोंका उन्होंने पीठ पे.
Yes.
A report claimed that Pakistani troops, upon detecting Indian occupation at 5240, occupied the neighboring peak .5353 by November 1999. 0.5240, which is an Indian territory, is now occupied by the Indian Army. 0.5353 said to be occupied by Pakistan. After the war was over, Aziz, the Pakistani commander, whose plan of sabotage was upstaged, faced a court of inquiry and disciplinary action for its decisions that led to Pakistan losing 0.5240 to India. Shoaib Hassan went on to settle overseas after a distinguished career with Pakistani Army.
Yes. Yes.
That is amazing.
Yes.
So speaking from your own personal experience being in the army and with the Gurkha Rifles, and you knew the inner reality, right, of facing the Pakistani army. So what was wrong with the time and era of General Pervez Musharraf? What was wrong with him? What was he like?
Well, the Pakistani army had changed a lot from 1971, and General Zia-ul Haq had brought religion into the Pakistani army, which had spoiled. They had brought Maulvis, and the officers who had been commissioned in 71 or after the war, they were fed with this balderdash, you need to have a very radicalized form. And उस वक्त उसके बाद 71 के हार के बाद में पाकिस्तान ने तय किया कि we must mold our army along the religious lines, and General Zia-ul Haq came into being. He was the one. If you ask me what is the difference, who spoiled it was General Zia-ul Haq and his introduction of radicalized religion in the Pakistani army.
So basically that killed the discipline, the decorum of being a standardized and a dignified army, but rather included the radicalized version of preaching something.
Yes, it was a radicalized army, and that's where the difference lies between the Indian and Pakistani armies. The Indian army is the most inclusive, secular, the busiest army in the world, and it has also been derived out of the legacy that it has proudly shouldered on its epaulets, and proudly shouldered all these years. It has continued with its traditions, the legacy, और जो inclusivity है पाकिस्तान इंडियन आर्मी में, वो मेरे दूसरी किताब में है कि पाकिस्तानी आर्मी की हम कभी और बात करेंगे कि how wrong the Pakistanis were about the Indian army, that it was an army of only one religion. It was not. It had different people and different heroes, and that's another story.
हमारे तरफ से अब्दुल हमीद साहब परमवीर चक्र जीते हैं
जी
उन्होंने पाया है
yeah. Brigadier Osman was promised a very senior role in the Pakistani army, and he refused, and he was one of the first major senior casualties who died in 1948, and he chose to be with India. बहुत सारी कहानियां
बिल्कुल सर. And I think one more adjective I would like to add here to Indian Army: professional.
जी.
Super professional. सर आपकी कोई पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है पर मुशर्रफ के साथ, परवेज के साथ?
So interesting that you asked me about General Pervez Musharraf. Well, he was the chief of Pakistani army, and there was no question of having any kind of interaction there. But it was, वो बोलते हैं ना कि कारगिल में there were lots of colleagues and comrades who died in glory in uniform while fighting the battle. So some years later I was in the US and I was in school doing my masters. तब वो बात वहाँ आई कि जनरल मुशर्रफ साहब आने वाले हैं. He had become the president of Pakistan, and उन दिनों में UN जनरल असेंबली में ये लोग सब आते थे, तो न्यूयॉर्क में इनको बुलाया जाता था फॉर अ लीडरशिप टॉक. तो जनरल परवेज मुशर्रफ, then President Pervez Musharraf, appeared in the university where I was doing my masters. I'd left the army at that time.
Okay.
But General Pervez Musharraf started to speak about how he had brought peace to the subcontinent.
He was giving a lecture.
He was talking about all of that, and then he said, जैसे होता है उसके बाद में कि any questions, I raised my hand and I asked him the question about how he was talking about peace, and from what kind of moral platform would he talk about peace when his actions had brought about the deaths of many young soldiers and officers, not just ours or India's, but it was also Pakistani officers and soldiers, some of whom they had not claimed or they had refused to claim as their own. So what kind of peace was he talking about? He got very miffed with my question.
Did you tell him that you were with Indian Army?
I had told him that my colleagues had died, and I had said that I was in the Indian Army.
What was
his
response?
Well, he was very miffed. He was not very happy, and as usual, he said, "Gentlemen, you have not, seen the background, and you have just asked a question." But then the mic was with him, and the mic had gone away from me. But I had done what I had intended to, caused him to lose his cool.
A slap on his ego.
Yes. So I think that was what I intended to do. I
Yeah.
intended to rebut his claim, and not just that. I was happy that I was quietly smiling that it left him angry and uneasy.
And in that open forum. And sir, let me just tell you, I think, there was sheer ignorance in his personality, in his maintenance, or in his, the way he carried himself, or rather the ego. Had the result of Kargil war been something else, we would have seen a very different version of General Pervez Musharraf. But then he had to stay in his limits because Indian Army gave what we gave eventually.
Yes. And that's a story of Boys of Boira where, Pervez Mehdi,
Yeah.
Air Chief Marshal Pervez Mehdi, who had known him for a long time, talks about him. In fact, in my previous book, there is a role of General Pervez Musharraf as a young captain in another war, another time. But किसी और
समय
वक्त,
बात बिल्कुल. All right, sir. Let's quickly move to chapter 8, Warrior's Code of Courage, leading with heart and honor.
तो इसमें ये है, मैं संक्षिप्त में बताना चाहूँगा कि ये एक स्टोरी है लीडरशिप की. और हम जब लीडरशिप की बात कर रहे हैं, अगेन हियर आई हैव स्पोकन अबाउट लीडरशिप ऑफ Brigadier Shekhawat and how he saves his comrade and how he fights off the militant. But there is also the story of the militant. There is also the story of Major Sengar, whose life is saved. But वो militant की कहानी भी है कि वो किस तरीके से अपने सहयोगियों को, अपने लोगों को escape करने में सहायता करता है. He sticks to that ground. He is injured. The militant is injured. And he takes on Brigadier Shekhawat, then Captain Shekhawat, in a one-on-one battle, in a one-on-one encounter. And, when he is found to be dead, then Shekhawat discovers that there were many magazines. जो उतनी सारी magazines उसके पास होनी नहीं चाहिए थे, वो इसलिए थी क्योंकि he had intended to take away the magazines of his colleagues and comrades who could then escape, and he could sit and fight the Indian Army, though he was injured. I'm not saying that this is in any way implying
We're not glorifying it.
Of a militant. However, it is a lesson. We always draw lessons. It's also, the one reason is that, there is a, I thought it important to highlight a dimension of war where you look at the adversary and you want to understand the strength of the adversary also. You cannot, think of an adversary as some fool, but here is an adversary who's very committed to the cause, however misplaced that cause would have been. But that militant, that terrorist was committed to that cause and was ready to give up his life to protect what he stood for. And here was the Indian Army, the officers who were saving, one was saving the other's life, and also was in a battle with this militant. And this story brings out the commitment, the courage, and what you sign up for when you go into the battle. And they stuck to their, they stuck to what they had signed up for, stuck to what they were there in that battle for. So that's why it's titled that way.
Warrior's Code of Courage.
Yes, it's Warrior's Code of Courage. Warriors, that other militant was also a warrior doing what he needed to do, what he wanted to do.
Rather, he believed in.
He believed in, misplaced. But उसका commitment को,
determination,
commitment को highlight करना, उसकी determination को, और उसका जो cause था, उस पे believe करना. There's a conversation between Brigadier Shekhawat
and allow me to quote, sir, and I think Indian Army really knows to give credit where the credit is due. और जो अपने दुश्मन की काबिलियत की भी तारीफ करते हैं, वही खासियत है Indian Army. And sir, I would try to read here. Abu Khalid was the name of the terrorist, and you have quoted here exactly. This isn't an attempt to glorify the enemy, but rather to shed light on the unwavering determination of a terrorist. You precisely named everything, and I think in the most clear and the most specific way. Bilkul. And my salute and my regards to Brigadier Saurabh Singh Shekhawat sir.
Bilkul. And we must, in order to be able to take on our adversaries, it's important to know them.
Yeah, it is important to know them. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a line.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Let's move to chapter 9.
Yes.
The Militant and the Major. Finding Nizamu. Any news of Nizamuddin?
Well, Nizamuddin is somewhere, but I think the one news that I can give you is that he's no more a militant. I don't know where is he. But the fact that, here is a story about an officer, and ये एक कहानी है कश्मीर में young officers की, again, it's a way of conveying where we were and what we were doing in that era, उस युग में किस तरीके से young officers कश्मीर में लड़ाई लड़ते थे और उनका they had their ears to the ground.
Absolutely.
They knew that this militant who had surrendered was going to be a good man, or had surrendered because they had their ears to the ground. As a young officer, you cannot be far removed from what is going on in the ground to be able to wrongly judge where you were.
Yeah.
So this is one story where the protagonist is able to, Mohan is able to understand what the militant was doing. And it also tells us that, how confident an army officer is when he's dealing with a militant, to be able to judge rightly so. It also talks about how the faith is reposed by the militant on a young officer, knowing fully well that you might even die. But he says, I have come to surrender to you, sir, because I knew that you would save me.
Yeah.
And what happens in the story, it's a very remarkable story. I have, a couple of places I've been asked as to why I spoke about this story and why I have also spoken about the senior officer asking him to be bumped off. Well, in Kashmir, for so many years, for 2-3 decades, if there has been peace that's been maintained, the credit for that goes to the Indian Army. Who
certainly
has
goes
been
to the Indian Army.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, and it's a complex लड़ाई, और उस complex लड़ाई में कोई black और white नहीं होता, grey होता है.
Yeah.
Perceptions differ होती हैं. So it's important to highlight what one was perceiving was different from the other. Nobody's right or wrong. It's a perception. But Mohan was closer to the ground. He understood. The thing is, the other thing that is something that I wanted to highlight is the moral courage. A moral courage of taking a call which is different from what you have been asked to do because you believe in it.
Defying the norms.
Defying the norms, which he asks himself later, did I take the right call? But then he chose the right call in a decision dilemma. In a moment of decision dilemma. Decision dilemma का मतलब ये है कि आपके पास 2 ऑप्शन है, कौन सा राइट ऑप्शन आप चूज करेंगे?
2 राइट ऑप्शन है, उसमें से आपको चूज करना है.
2 ऑप्शन है, मैंने कहा कोई राइट नहीं, कोई रॉन्ग नहीं. 2 ऑप्शन है, उसके बीच, उन दोनों ऑप्शंस के बीच में आप वो ऑप्शन चूज करेंगे. दैट्स अ डिसीजन डिलेमा. और वो ऑप्शंस के बीच आप कौन सा डिसीजन चूज करेंगे? एंड ही चूजेस द डिसीजन दैट ही फील्स answers to his call.
Yeah.
Answers to his higher call. The higher call was to save a life. And the higher call was to save a life, reform somebody, send a message. That if you come to us with a clean heart, wanting to reform, you can actually do it. And that is a message the Indian Army has had for militancy for many years. They have actually, the hardcore ones, the ones that do, there is a different message from the Indian Army.
Yeah.
They send them to their maker. But there are ones who want to reform. This is a story about that.
And that is the beauty of Indian Army, sir. Allowing and giving that chance, that opportunity, that trust, believing in you so that, our action will reflect your actions. And for the thousands of people around you who will look at you and see you as an example and wouldn't want to go on that path and believe in the faith and in the idea that represents the beauty and the code of Indian Army.
In a complex situation also, there is a way, and wanted to highlight these dimensions. And if you see these last few stories, they're all very complex. They deal in the grey.
They truly are, sir. And sir, in 1992, when this movie came out, so directed by Sir Maniratnam Roja, the plot is just the same.
Yeah.
There's this, engineer coming from Madras, Chennai, then Madras, and he's abducted by the terrorists there in the separatist movement, the jihadist movement, the insurgencies, which is the topic and the plot of this chapter.
Right.
And then the conversations between them, at the end, he eventually is able to reform that terrorist, which was played by Pankaj Kapoor Sahab.
Yes.
And he says, basically go. And then he allows him to go and he meets his wife, the leading lady.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that's just not fiction, but also has been done in the real life.
Yes.
Has happened.
Yes.
All right, sir. Allow me to read the postscript.
Yes.
And we'll move on to the last chapter,
Yes.
which is also very interesting and
again
a tribute to the war heroes. In the 1990s and early 2000s, scores of misguided youth would join the militant movement in Kashmir. The Indian government introduced a surrender policy in 1995 and then in subsequent years. but they didn't quite succeed. According to an Observer Research Foundation report, political intervention, inadequate efforts in delivering promised incentives, social integration issues resulted in rehabilitated militants losing their way. However, it's the young Indian Army officers on the ground with their fingers on the pulse of militancy who have played a greater role in winning back the trust of the youth in Kashmir. And we all know the situation today in 2024. So cheers to Indian Army, sir. And cheers to such heroes like Mohan.
Yes, जब वो अर्ली 90s में जब मैं सर्व कर रहा था तब ये अक्सर कहा जाता था और मिलिटेंट्स ये समझते थे कि इन अ फ्यू इयर्स वील मेक इंडिया कम डाउन on its knees. And that was the kind of arrogance, that was the kind of confidence that the militants had, because many of them had the experience of the Afghan war, and they had come from that side.
And they were constantly fed that kind of,
and they had been fighting, so they were very they were used to it. जो बाहर के militants थे फिर कश्मीर से जाने लगे. But initially the militants who had come from across the border were very much confident that they would make India go down on her knees in a few years' time, because India wouldn't have the appetite to take this conflict for far too long. That was the impression they had of India. And well, we know who's on the knees today. And that's the resilience.
and how.
Yes, and that's the resilience of the Indian Army. And I say that in terms of Kashmir, the Indian Army, because the civil administration had collapsed very early on. It is the Indian Army that has singularly handled the state for so many years. And I also must salute the people who have been resilient. And there are the misguided ones, but there are the larger sections of people who have come around today. They participate in cricket, they participate in several things, the civil services, and there is a lot of, I went to, after many years, I visited the valley and went to several places. No. After many years, recently, last year. And there's a lot that has changed in the valley. People are, there is the economy is looking up. There are lots of activities happening. Tourists are visiting, which is a great time. And I always say that, there's always a graph that you look at and see where we are going. I think it's an upward graph, and that's happened in the last many years, and the credit for large part of the credit must go to the Indian Army and also the people of Kashmir who have stood by and have weathered this difficult period.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, it's all about moving towards love and letting go of the hate and prejudices.
Yes.
And I think, sir, every single Indian Army officer and every single Kashmiri civilian who believed, in living in a good and stable democracy where there's peace around, everyone needs to be credited for that.
Yes, and that's why there's a story which has the militant who reforms and the major who helps him do that.
Yeah, read out. And lastly, sir, let's move to the 10th chapter of our final, trajectory. Nariman House, 26/11, a war comes home of brave hearts and their families.
Yes. Now, this is a story that's closer home. It's there in our consciousness because it's happened only about, 16 years back, 15 years back. तो ये कहानी जो है
in this very city,
not very many miles away from where we are at this point. Now, उसमें काफ़ी कवरेज था मीडिया में, लेकिन एक कहानी जो 26/11 के बारे में लोगों को पता नहीं है वो इसमें है. आई डोंट वांट टू गो इनटू द डिटेल्स ऑफ इट, बट इट इज़ अ स्टोरी अबाउट 26/11 दैट हैज़ नॉट बीन टोल्ड मच, एंड इट्स अ स्टोरी ऑफ Colonel Sandeep Sen and his band of commandos who had come from Manesar. और ये जो स्टोरी है वो सोल्जर्स के बारे में है और उनके फैमिलीज़ के बारे में, इसलिए ये स्टोरी थोड़ी यूनिक है. और वो स्टोरी इसलिए भी यूनिक है क्योंकि जब हम 26/11 की बात करते हैं, हम ताज की बात करते हैं, मोगरा की बात करते हैं, हम वीटी की बात करते हैं, हम लियोपोल्ड कैफ़े की बात करते हैं, लेकिन नरीमन हाउस के बारे में जो कभी कभार बात होती है उसकी पूरी चर्चा नहीं करते हैं. और उसके बारे में जो ये स्टोरी है वो एक बड़ी दिलचस्प स्टोरी है. जब ये कमांडोज़ यहाँ मुंबई में आए थे तब उनको ये नहीं पता था कि नरीमन हाउस कहाँ है. It was a house without an address, and they went to Mantralay, they went to several places, to the Kolaba police station. Neither the civil administration nor the police were aware where Nariman House stood.
और ये वो ज़माना है जब गूगल मैप्स और इंटरनेट एग्जिस्ट नहीं
नहीं
करता
थे. और ये ताज्जुब की बात ये है, ताज्जुब की बात नहीं, खैर मतलब आई कैन ऑलवेज से दैट इट्स अ सैड स्टेट दैट एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम 2-3 things happened. The terrorists had the maps, the terrorists were using the maps, the terrorists were using the line wireless to speak with their handlers in Karachi in Pakistan.
Yeah.
And the Indian army, or the NSG commandos rather, who were operating in those locations, did not have the advantage of real-time intelligence. Though the real-time intelligence was being intercepted in Delhi, they were not passed on to Colonel Sandeep Sen and his commandos, who were operating without maps or without the advantage of having any sort of intelligence intercepts. And it's a very sad state, because इनको रोका भी गया. इनका जो प्लेन था, जो पहली हवाई जहाज़ वहाँ से आई,
हाँ.
वो उस वक्त होम मिनिस्टर साहब थे, एंड ही took a long time to get ready, and he wanted to travel with the commandos, and which is why they got delayed. Shivraj Patil was the home minister, and I must say this, that it is very sad that he took so much time that it delayed the arrival of commandos, because of which we may have lost many more lives in the Taj and Oberoi. Colonel Sandeep Sen and his troops came later, and it's a very interesting story. It's also a story of mistaken identities, which also tells us how media sometimes jumps the
To
gun.
conclusions.
Jumps to conclusions, jumps at the gun. And वो इस स्टोरी के माध्यम से एक सही कहानी, इस स्टोरी में मिस्टेकन आइडेंटिटी क्या है वो आई विल ऑल्सो लेट द रीडर्स रीड. बट इस मिस्टेकन आइडेंटिटी के वजह से ये माना गया कि कोई गलत आदमी की मौत हो गई है, वन ऑफ द शहीद हो गए हैं, विच वॉज नॉट ट्रू. इट वॉज द डेथ ऑफ समवन बाय द सेम नेम, एंड दैट इज अ स्टोरी. एंड ऑल्सो इट्स अ स्टोरी अबाउट द फैमिलीज. अब वो जो स्टोरी पहली स्टोरी है, जब वो सोल्जर्स यूरोप जाते थे, लड़ते थे बेल्जियम और इटली में, वहाँ पर जाकर के उनकी चिट्ठियाँ आती थी 2-3 महीने बाद फैमिलीज़ के पास, एंड द फैमिलीज़ वुड देन नो वेदर देयर family member soldier was alive or dead,
not.
was he coming home.
Yeah.
That had moved the entire 360 degrees after 100 years. And this story talks about the time when the families were actually watching their husbands fight live on television, and they would know real time whether somebody was dying or somebody had passed away. This was unfortunate, but the fact is technology and war had come together, brought this action to our living rooms. And that's also the entire spectrum of the book.
Yeah.
That it starts. The book में एक introduction है जहाँ पे रुद्रबीर सेन का जिक्र किया गया है, जो पहले वर्ल्ड वॉर में एक गांव है पिथौरागढ़ में, जहाँ से 1000 लोग गए थे वॉर लड़ने.
करेक्ट. उसी एक
गांव से और वहाँ से रुद्रबीर सेन 3-4 साल बाद एंग्लो अफगान वॉर वजीरिस्तान में लड़ने गए, और उनको वहाँ पे गैलेंट्री अवार्ड दिया गया. 90 साल बाद, 90 years later, his grandson, Colonel Sandeep Sen, led the attacks on terrorists at Nariman House.
Legacy.
These two parts bookend the theme of the book.
सर ऐसा लग रहा है मेरी आंखों के सामने से 100 साल गुजर गए. And sir, I can't be, it's so overwhelming. It's like goosebumps all the way. And it was a terror night, sir. I still remember watching it on TVs with my family, and we were all terrorized, even though I was far away from the city in my hometown.
Yeah.
But for all of us, it was like, it was so much to take. And we can only imagine the bravery of all those commandos who did not know what they were walking into.
Yeah.
Of 10 madmen who only came here to kill and die. And they were just shooting mercilessly, and अंधाधुन जिसको कहते हैं कि जो सामने आया वो. एंड उसके दौरान, उसके बावजूद भी ये सारी चीज़ों को फेस करते हुए, एक्टिंग एज अ प्रोफेशनल डिग्निफाइड आर्मी ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ देयर ट्रेनिंग्स एंड स्किल्स दैट they achieved the impossible.
I remember speaking with Colonel Sandeep Sen. He's my battalion officer, by the way.
Wow.
And after 26/11, and he was still here. And so we spoke when he was at the Taj, and after the thing, and everything was over, and he calls me and he says, I said, where are you? He says, I'm in the coffee shop, but it looks anything but the coffee shop of Taj.
The human factor is always there.
Yes.
Before the war begins and after the war ends.
Yes.
And sir,
और वहाँ पे उनको लेट नाइट पार्टी दी गई सबको, एंड ताज द वन इन कफ परेड में, और उस कफ परेड ताज में वो मेन्यू कार्ड जो था वहाँ पे they got all the signatures and of all these and that menu card is with Colonel Sandeep Sen, so he showed me, and it was one of those things, and quite amazing, and the staff really gave full support. The people gave full support, but the fact is this story had not been told.
Now
और
it will be.
ये कहानी जो है वो फैमिलीज और सोल्जर्स की है,
और उन्हीं के बीच में है.
उन्हीं के बीच में है. और ये कहानी मनेसर और मुंबई के बीच में, it flits between one city to the other, and it talks about the ironies, it talks about the lack of intelligence, it talks about the various things that we could have done better, and very many things.
And how war has changed after 100
War has
years,
changed,
but
yes.
it is still the same at its core.
Yes,
It
it
is
has,
still the same.
and there are stories. Each story is different from the other.
Yeah.
There are different dimensions, and somewhere I thought these dimensions not only talk about valid, but they talk about the contradictions, the losses, the comebacks, the joys, the sadness, and the losses.
Sacrifices.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
And these dimensions can be captured by stories that are 10, 100 years, one book, or even more. So I call it 100 years, 10 stories, one book captures India's history in the last century.
Yeah. And now, as they say, information is war. It's going to be an information based war. If you have the information, you're way ahead.
Yeah.
If you have the intelligence, you're way ahead
Yes.
in the army. And so I think in the Nariman house there was a Jewish family, I believe so,
Yes.
that
yes.
they killed, and there was a boy who survived,
Yes.
who later on went on to meet Mr. Netanyahu,
Yes.
and who also got captured with Mr. Narendra Modi.
Yes.
That boy is grown up.
Yes.
But sir, it still sends the shockwaves, but at the same time allows me to salute and pay my respects and tribute to all the amazing army officials and the black commandos, rather, every professional
Yeah.
who just did what they have to do in the pursuit of their objective.
Right. Yes.
All right, sir.
Thank
Allow
you.
me to read the postscript.
Sure.
This postscript includes information that emerged after the Operation Black Tornado, the code name given to the NSG's counter-terrorism operation against the deadliest terrorist attack on Indian soil. It aims to piece together the backstory, providing readers with a more comprehensive understanding of the events that unfolded in this chapter. Sir, so basically उस दिन मुंबई शहर अकेला नहीं लड़ा था, मानेसर भी शहर कहीं ना कहीं अपने घरों से
जी.
अपने लोगों के साथ लड़ रहा
जी.
था.
बिल्कुल.
बिल्कुल
Yes.
sir. So sir, I think we have finished all the 10 chapters.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
And
much
sir-
for having me over here, and really enjoyed our conversation, Raj. And
कैसा लगा
wish
सर
you the
आपको?
very best. बढ़िया.
मजा आया.
Yes.
I
loved
hope मैंने
it.
सारे सवाल सही पूछे.
Yeah, we're off camera now. Or?
No, we are still recording.
Okay.
Yeah, because मैं
Yeah.
एक सवाल
हाँ.
आपसे मतलब
Hmm.
सवाल तो नहीं है, मैं सिर्फ जानना चाहता हूँ. When I
Yeah.
got to know that you belong to Gurkha Rifles, ये
Hmm.
मैं तब से सोच रहा था जब
जी.
से हमारी पहली
Yeah.
conversation हुई
Yeah.
थी. So there's a name which will
Hmm.
always be there till the day
Yeah.
until the
Yeah.
time Gurkha
Yeah.
Rifles is going to be
Hmm.
Captain Manoj Pandey.
जी.
So would you want to speak anything about him, because you were telling
Yeah.
me before the
Yeah.
shoot began
Yeah.
about the
So,
little event.
Yeah. So Captain Manoj Pandey was an officer from my regiment, 11 Gorkha Rifles. 11 Gorkha Rifles consists, and like I said, all regiments of the Indian Army are valorous, have great legacies. I will speak about 11 Gorkha Rifles. जो यहाँ की फौज है, 11 Gorkha Rifles was created in 1948, was raised in 1948 as we call it. Out of those Gurkhas, और Gurkhas आपको मालूम है कि इंडियन आर्मी में भी है और ब्रिटिश आर्मी में भी रहे हैं. तो जब ये 1947 में इंडिपेंडेंस हुआ, उसके बाद में ऑप्शन दिया गया कि आप या तो यहाँ रहें इंडिया में या ब्रिटेन जाए. जो गुरखाज हु ऑप्टेड टू स्टे बैक इन इंडिया, उनको लेकर के एक रेजिमेंट की स्थापना की गई, और उस रेजिमेंट का नाम 11 गोरखा राइफल्स है. उसमें अधिकतर लोग राइज और लिम्बूज होते थे, ईस्टर्न नेपाल से आते थे, अभी तो कई जगह से आते हैं. लेकिन वो 11 GR एक बहुत ही प्रेस्टिजियस वैलरस एलीट रेजिमेंट है फौज की. जैसे मैंने कहा कि 2 आर्मी चीफ्स और 2 CDSs 11 GR से आए हैं. आपने कैप्टन मनोज पांडे की बात करी. कैप्टन मनोज पांडे हमारी रेजिमेंट के थे, कारगिल में शहीद हुए थे. और मेरा एक छोटी जो anecdote है which I have is that I was posted in Lucknow at that time. So
Yeah.
लखनऊ में उनकी
उनका घर है.
जी,
उनका घर
उनका
है।
घर है।
Yeah.
मैं उस वक्त लखनऊ में पोस्टेड था और जब ये खबर आई कि कैप्टन मनोज पांडे का देहांत हो गया, गोली लग करके वो शहीद हो गए हैं, ही वाज किल्ड इन एक्शन, तो आई हैड टू amongst, there were a couple of officers, so we went to his house, and I remember meeting his father and mother. We didn't convey any news because the very fact that we had arrived in uniform in his house was news enough. He
Correct.
knew what news we brought. So we hugged and we sat in silence. I remember, his body had arrived and we, had gone to the tarmac. I was the one who received his body at the Lucknow airport, and then had also led his funeral parade along with others. It was a very touching moment. I had not seen so many people ever in my life coming to a funeral. I was on the top of the truck and I saw thousands and thousands of people of Lucknow on both sides of the road lining up to pay homage to one of India's greatest soldiers. And yes, so that was a moment which I remember and take away. Very sad, but at the same time a proud moment for the nation. And yes, Captain Manoj Pandey remains one of the bravest and most valorous warriors. And yes, I'm proud to say he was from my regiment, and so have been so many other officers and soldiers who have attained martyrdom or have attained glory, have always held high the flag and aloft the flag of the country and the regiment. So I think yes, 11GR is a regiment which I'm proud to be a part of.
Jai Ma Kali.
Jai
Ayo
Ma
Gur
Kali,
Kali.
Ayo Gur Kali. Yes.
All right, sir. This has been amazing. I couldn't have asked for more. मेरे सामने में 1911 से लेकर 2008 ऐसे एक पन्नों की तरह पलटते चले गए. I legit saw a movie in front of me, and I'm so thankful to you. I'm really grateful and eternally proud, and also feel very privileged along with my entire team, Sandeep and Anil, that we got this opportunity and we, हम आपको सुन पाए, हम
जय
आपकी
हिंद
कहानियां सुन
इस
सके.
बात पर.
जय हिंद.
जय
जय
हिंद.
हिंद सर.
जय हिंद.
थैंक यू. और हम दोबारा करेंगे वाटरशेड.
बिल्कुल
आप दोबारा आएंगे.
दोबारा करेंगे. एंड बड़ा
yeah.
मजा आया आपसे बात करके.
बिल्कुल.
जय हिंद एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you, sir. Take care and read it, guys. Read it. Camouflage by Major Prabal Das Gupta. Goodbye.